Now, the suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu will be back in the hot seat at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria today. The Commission yesterday heard how the Political Killings Task Team, or the PKTT, is the only such team that has been disbanded. Now, evidence brought before the Commission suggests that there are at least 10 police task teams, that are in existence. And Mchunu has told Justice Madlanga that the other task teams are within the jurisdiction of the Police Commissioner General Fannie Masemola. SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga always ready to give us more details on what goes on at the Madlanga Commission. Canny, good morning. And another interesting day yesterday, and just moving to the second part of it with the return of Minister Senzo Mchunu, it also seemed as though Justice Madlanga had reached saturation point with all the pre-verification and really pressing for answers there.
Indeed. Good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers once again. As we explained earlier this week, although the Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu, who's on a leave of absence, has gone to great lengths to try and lay a foundation that could reconstruct possibly the events surrounding the 31st of December decision to disband the PKTT. That includes his powers. He's laid the foundation of the legislative framework and, of course, the PKTT itself. However, we did state that it's going to be difficult to walk back this particular decision in that manner because of the circumstances that surrounded the PKTT disbandment, as well as the manner in which he took the decision. And of course, as we expected, that has raised a number of questions from the Commission's bench as to what really was the rationale or possible rationale or alleged influence behind the decision to disband the PKTT. Some of the questions that are coming up is that we do know that in the policing landscape, there is more than one task team that was brought out to deal with a specific problem. We know that the PKTT was dealing with the specific issue of political killings, particularly in the KwaZulu-Natal province, where it is a prevailing problem, and was continuing with the work then, and of course got its work extended to the mandates of Fort Hare, and then the killings of traditional healers, and of course went on to support the counterintelligence structure that is in Gauteng with their investigations into organized crime. So it was a team that was lending its supports to various different areas. However, it was not the only team existing within the South African Police Services. There were at least 10 task teams. So when he was asked about that particular interest in the PKTT, he then states that this one was a political intervention, but the others belonged to General Fannie Masemola, so they were initiated by the National Commissioner. Several other questions are coming up for the Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu. So he states that he took the decision or reflected on the decision from the 29th, 30th and 31st of December. This may be possibly to, eliminate that element of the evidence that General Fannie Masemola stated before the Commission, that he had seen him prior to the announcement at a funeral in Mpangeni. And of course, there was no indication at that point that such a decision was going to be made, and he limits it to those 3 days within the 29th, 30th and the 31st of December. Several other questions as to whether he had a good working relationship with General Fannie Masemola, as well as why he decided to drop it as a bombshell surprise to these particular units. Of course, he's leaning on the claim that because it was an interim structure, it was always expected that it was going to end at some point, and he didn't have to go to great lengths to, warn them or forewarn them about this particular decision. Of course, there's going to be several other questions for the Police Minister as he seeks to provide a rationale behind the PKTT disbandment.